We'll go ahead and get started with our work session, please. Mr. Frank?
Good evening. I am here regarding items C and D on the agenda. Item C here is to enter into a contract with Matthews Tree Service to remove 4 trees. 2 that are very dangerous and a couple others that are damaged. That one's pretty much self-explanatory. And item D is regarding the installation of a sand and gravel bin, a place for us to actually have topsoil, sand and gravel to top off the burial plots, you know, to allow grass to grow on. It's something that's been needed and had it in budget for last year, just couldn't come up with a good place for it, but we're ready now, so.
Okay.
Hey Frank, about those trees you
Yes.
were talking about, you said 2 were dangerous, as in dangerous of falling over roads or over the graves themselves?
Both. We have one that's in a real historical plot, and it's got wrought iron fence around it, and it's leaning more and more. I hate to see the tree go, but if there's no, and if it does topple, it will definitely take out a 150, 200-year-old, very elaborate monument.
So the tree will be totally removed, not just topped?
No,
And then-
not just topped. It can't be because it's structurally not sound.
And will you replace it with anything?
Chances are not right off because the stump can't be ground where it's at. I'm not saying at a later date we may, but if we do, or if we did, in that particular location, somebody down the road's gonna face the same dilemma. I don't think they really thought that out when those trees were either, some of them are maybe voluntarily there or planted possibly, but people didn't think maybe 150 or so years ago that this was gonna be an issue.
Okay, and so we've talked about this before, you come in, you've removed trees. Does this get the cemetery to a place where you feel like it's not only beautiful and it's functioning, but it's also safer, or do you feel like there will be more tree removal?
Well, the question is good, and it's just a matter of whatever happens with nature. If we have some bad storms or anything like that, that's, you know, as per now, I think we're in good shape. But if we have high winds or hopefully no tornadic, you know, activity or anything like that, or lightning strikes, you know, there's many things that can occur, so that's just a wait and see basis.
Okay, but for now,
We're good, I think.
okay, all right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Frank.
Yep.
Ted?
Afternoon, Tad Cole, Gas and Water Department. I have one item on the agenda. It's a HVAC repair, it's a contract with the Hawk Company. This is for the calibration, repairs, and support of our turbidimeters and our spectrophotometers at both the Wilson Lake and Cypress Street water treatment facilities. The amount is $4,303. And it's to be paid from budget account 635.1 lab testing. This is just our standard renewal with them to keep all of our lab equipment up to date.
How often do they do this?
How often do they do this? This is yearly. This is annually. You know, we're required 90-day calibration periods, and so this covers us for the entire year.
Those words sound like something out of Back to the Future.
I was gonna ask if you practiced them before you came in.
Well,
They flowed.
that, if you've been in business as long as I have, those are pretty common. It's actually 2 pretty common devices that we use every day, so.
And I can't believe they don't know what a spectrophotometer is.
Shameful, isn't it?
It measures the clarity of water, basically, in a nutshell. So, yes, this is just standard contract with them in that amount. Any more questions? Thank y'all.
Mary?
Good evening. I have one item on the agenda. It's a contract with Allegiant Utility Services. This is agreement for the use of their software for basically the meters that we're gonna set ourselves during the AMI process. We're gonna use their software to set the meters, and it's connected to our CIS, so and this is what they're using to set all the rest of the meters, so it'll just be an easier transition for us to get them set through this software than developing our own, so that's what this is.
Will it all talk to each other?
The meters,
Yeah, all the technology?
yes, all the technology will, yes. when
Any,
it's
so
done.
is there a need to get any additional, or will this do the?
This will do.
Okay, cause you do have F on the agenda too.
Yeah, you got two on there.
It's been removed.
Oh,
Yes,
that was removed.
They removed that.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Did not have that?
Yes. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Chief Anderson? Nobody?
He's walking to the door.
Okay. The price is right, chief, so come on
Price is
down.
right. Perfect timing, as they say.
Right.
How are you all this afternoon? I have two items. The first one is with having an invoice from Hobart Sales. Well, it's actually, I believe, Parker Equipment, RW Parker Equipment doing business as Hobart Sales. And it's in the amount of $1,451.84. And this was, we have a commercial ice machine at Fire Station 1, and we had a breakdown of that machine. And this invoice is to cover the cost of the repairs on it. And it's to be expensed to account 260-42200.
Has it been repaired?
It has, yes. Yes, we treated this as an emergency repair and got them straight in and made the repair. The machine's used, it has a pretty heavy workload on that particular machine. Any questions about that one? So the other item that I have is basically entering into a contract proposal, and it's the company name is ESO, and they are our records management software company. And I'm going to explain a little bit about what's going on with this, and then I'll cover the dollars and cents of it. All of our incident reports, all of our medical calls, fires, everything we go on as far as emergency calls, all of our training records, all of our fire inspections, fire investigation records, everything we do, personnel file records, everything is all maintained in one RMS system at the department. And we have gone through this cycle a couple of times over probably the last 12, 13 years, where we were with an RMS vendor and they were bought out by a larger company. And they basically, made an end of life of the previous software we were on, and you had options to go out and research and find someone else. And up until this point, what we have been doing is going with someone that met our needs, but that was still kind of I'm gonna classify them as a small fish in the pond. And we continue now 2 more times. Those companies have been bought out by the same large company that seems like they're trailing behind us every few years. So we were with Emergency Reporting Software, and we have been with them for the last several years. Great software, but ESO has gone in and purchased them. That purchase took place approximately coming up on 3 years ago. And we knew one day that this was coming, that they would end of life the emergency reporting software. And basically that time has come. We received some notice back at the beginning of this year that they were going to be doing away with your login credentials and all your records of emergency reporting, and they've been trying to get people to migrate to their software. We have gone out and researched with some other vendors, and we have found a couple that will meet our needs. We've found some that will do certain components, but we are all in on the records management software. Everything we do is together, and having the ability for those components to communicate with each other from the fire investigations to the incident reports to the, you know, every aspect of it. It's real important to be, in our business, to be with one consistent vendor, so that information can be shared within the disciplines, within the department. So we've looked at a couple of vendors, and we went with ESO and took a look at their product that they're offering. It meets all of our needs. There is about a $12,000 increase in the annual cost of doing business with them versus what we have been paying the previous vendor. There had not been a cost adjustment in about 3 years with them, and this transition is about $12,000 more than we have been paying. But they are meeting our needs, and one of the things that have pushed me to go ahead and recommend going with this company is trying to, you know, they're one of the top 2 largest companies of this doing records management for the fire service in the country. And every one we keep going to, they're buying them out behind us shortly, and it's a tremendous amount of man hours to take all of our data. You know, we've got about 80,000 records, files of records that's in that software, and we have to manually move them. And if we stay with this company, they're gonna, and as part of this purchase price, they're gonna migrate our records into the new software that they own.
Do they base the price on the size of the?
It is the
city?
size of the entity, the number of employees, the number of responses you do. There's some just cookie cutter prices, but, you know, that does play into it. The larger cities, the larger departments, there is a cost adjustment to that. But what I have before you today is a quote from ESO in the amount of $24,222.50 for our records management software, asset management, all of our inventory, everything. Maintenance records, everything is all done in this.
Chief, I am so sorry to
No.
interrupt, but could you repeat that amount? It doesn't appear to match what we have.
$24,222. Well, I'll get there. There's two fees here together.
Oh, okay.
So there's a $24,222.50 that's basically for the ESO software that includes all of our records management, the things I've been identifying. And there's an additional $2,300 that is proposed from a company called I Am Responding. And what I Am Responding does, it takes both of these softwares work together. They receive incident data from the CAD system at 911. Our emergency responses, everything that goes on there, but I Am Responding is a program that sends emergency notifications out to mobile devices so that you can, it's a secondary means of our radios, but especially people like me now here, if there's an emergency call comes in, my phone will alert me and I can see the address, what's going on, what kind of call type it is, what units are responding, where they're responding from. It's an information piece, and all of our employees now get that while they're on duty as a secondary means of communication, receiving the emergency calls. The two of those together, it was $24,222.50 for the ESO program, and the I Am Responding is an additional $2,300 for a total amount of $26,522.50. And that's it in a nutshell. And we're basically, this is gonna be entering into another contract with them for us to migrate our data over to them and continue on with the operation. And this would be an annual reoccurring fee.
Other than the data migration, what makes it 12,000? I mean, what makes it worth that?
When you're large enough and you know you're holding all the apples, that, you know, they know they're one of the premier companies, and they're one of the largest ones out there, and their price point reflects that.
And is this an annual fee?
It is.
The 26,000 will be
It would be an annual fee, which currently is about 12,000 more than we're paying.
Yeah, so
Currently.
it's basically doubling.
Yeah, yes, it is nearly doubling. The interactive component of it is a little more, user-friendly, but what we've been sent notice on is they're turning off our current software. And, it's taking place in two phases. What we currently receive is called Rover. And I Am Responding does the exact same thing, as Rover, that we currently receive that data to a mobile device. They're end of lifing that software in August, and we have until the end of the year technically for the records management, but they're pressing us pretty hard because there's quite a few customers around the country that they're taking over and trying to migrate data to. And they're telling everybody there's a communication piece that you can't all wait to the end and expect all of you to get what you need at the same time, basically. And we're trying to get our stuff secure. There's a several month process with getting that data merged from what we have been using to the new software. And that's kind of why I'm picking now to go ahead and come in front of you and talk about it. But we've got plenty of time before we get our back against the wall at the end of the year.
When would this contract be effective if it's approved?
Right now. It would start, if you all approve it and we sign the invoice, it will start the business on it.
So it
at
wouldn't
this
wait
moment.
until the fiscal year?
No, it
So
would not.
there, you have the funding in your
I do.
account to cover this. Did it go through committee?
No, it has not. It's the 911 center, so here's another change. This is something I failed to mention. In the past, the invoice for this service has been sent to the 911 center direct, and they would do it based on 15 fire agencies, Florence Fire and 14 volunteer, which would turn into the county invoicing the city for just our portion. I had rather our invoice come to us and deal with it that way. Not that there's been a problem, I'd just rather see our data and know what's going on the front side, instead of that being handled the other
So
way.
there is no cost sharing opportunity
No,
with this one?
it's
This
not.
is strictly to cover
Florence Fire. This is just our portion of it.
And so 911 has their own?
The county volunteer departments have their own. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think that decision's been made. For theirs is not near as costly as ours because they don't do fire inspections, they don't keep training records, they don't do fire investigations. They don't have the amount of asset inventory tracking that they keep up with and all that. So those extra things, ours has always cost more. And they've always been able to reflect that, but there's
For a company that is basically asking us to do
Yes.
this on their timeline, I would think they would also offer some sort of a rebate or a discount.
They are not offering, well, we do have a $2,000 rebate we're benefiting from with it, but there are no other discounts or anything like that. And the rebate is all contingent upon early sign up. The longer you wait in the year, the rebate goes away. Because what we have now, they're end of lifing that software. It's going away irregardless. Some of it in August and some of it near the end of the year. I know, I'm the same way. And we've looked at several vendors to try and come up with something else, and we found a vendor that met most of our needs. And talking with one of the IT consultants that deal with this on a large scale, multi-state scale, he tells me that they're posturing for buyout. And that's, here we go again.
What's the other company you mentioned too, this ESO? and there was
ESO
one
and
other?
emergency reporting is who we have currently been with, emergency
Isn't there
reporting.
another one?
The Firehouse software was one that we used prior to. They were purchased by ESO. We moved to emergency reporting. Now they've been, okay,
I'm sorry, I might not have made myself clear, I apologize. In addition to ESO Solutions, this very large scale company.
Yes.
Is there not a competitor at that level?
not for this price. They were more expensive than this. We looked at First View, is a records management software. I'm trying to be careful with what I communicate here, and they meet most of our needs. They did not necessarily meet everything in our training records portion of the record software, but they met most everything else. But I'm being advised from someone I have depended on for several years for his involvement and expertise that we probably need to look at somebody that's not posturing to be bought out.
Those are my questions.
Okay?
Any additional questions for the chief? All right, thank you. We have
Okay.
anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you. Bill?
Hello, everybody. How are y'all today?
Hello.
Good. Doing fine, thank you. You want to start with the change order?
Ken?
Is that good? So I guess y'all received the information on the change order, so this will be change order number 2 for, purchase order number REC 4634, which is the Sportsplex project. And the reason for this change order, as you see, there's the relocation of primary conduits, which will accommodate city utility connections for the Florence Sportsplex project. This price will include excavation of the trench, conduit, and labor to place the conduit from the new building back to the existing transformer by the baseball pod. And then including drawing shows kind of where the changes are being made. The total price on this is $45,100. Any
So
questions?
is this the project now that was to accommodate more parking, the reason we're moving this stuff, or?
No, sir, this has to do with the overall scope of the project of getting power actually to the pod.
Oh, I got you, okay.
So there's a single phase and 3-phase and transformer that will allow the power to go to the pod. Steve maybe can give you a little more detail than that, but that's,
No, I just knew
Yeah.
we've been talking about trying to get more parking.
the parking is a separate,
Yeah.
has nothing to do with that, no, sir.
Okay.
Do you mind giving us that amount again, please, Bill? That
Forty-
the change order
Sure.
amount is,
$45,100,
and so the total new contract price is,
$8,301,100.
Bill, is the change order, is it 45 or 47?
yeah, ours says 47,100.
Well, I'm looking at 45,100 here.
It's
Well, we're looking at
this-
45, I mean 47.
Yeah, on the front.
This one
page of
right
this
here?
document.
That would be my mistake on the memo, that is my mistake.
So it's 45.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just hadn't done the math to add it
No,
together yet.
that would
so-
be
45,100?
45,100, yep, I did the,
Page 2 and 3 is.
I did the memo page, so that would be my mistake.
I see it again over there, just making sure
No,
that it's all the same.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
And all things being equal to this point, I was kind of running some numbers today, and although we've had some change orders from our budgeted price, we're still under our budget, about around $388,000, so we're still
Under budget.
still doing good for the budget. This was one of those unforeseen things that, the electrical contractor called and this has to be fixed. I apologize for the mistake there.
Yeah, we go.
Can we get a
Motion.
motion by Mr. Over, second by Mr. Edwards, all in favor?
Thank you very much. The next item is, an item to enter into a contract with Coldwater Landscapes. And this will be to cut brush and herbicide treatment along the River Heritage Trail. And this will include labor, equipment, materials not to exceed $44,342.29.
And will that be, that will be to get us through this season?
Correct, yes, ma'am.
As in like now through, what
Well,
are the time, what's the timeline
This
on
will
that?
hopefully get us, and our guys can maintain it after this. It's just gotten to a point where we really need to do something pretty quickly to get it back under control. So this will get us to a point where we can hopefully be able to maintain it with our guys.
Good.
So how long is this contract for? What's the
They'll-
term on that?
They'll just it'll be a one application, so there's not really a timeline. They just have that one application.
They were out there the day that I was out there.
Yes, ma'am.
and It's a lot.
It is. And it's growing very fast.
It is, even though we've had no rain.
That's correct. The next item is item K, and this will be
We'd like to enter into a contract with Southern Pump and Control, and this will provide maintenance and repairs to some pumps and motor for the irrigation system at the sports complex. And this total amount is $1,650. Next item is item L, enter into a contract with Southern Pump and Control, providing maintenance or repairs to pump and motor irrigation for Blackberry Trail Golf Course. This amount is $883.
Have both been repaired?
They're working on them, not completely, but work in progress. The next item is item M, and I believe that y'all, this was presented at the last meeting, and it was for, it was set for Royal Avenue, and this is actually for Broadway Recreation Center. The same contract as Skip's Handy Service to remove and install countertops at Broadway Recreation Center. And this will be materials necessary to complete the job, including countertops, backsplash, and plumbing. And the total amount again is $3,375.
In that little kitchen area there?
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all. Any other questions? Thank y'all so much. Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Thank you.
Mr. Jackson? Oh, Mr. McCarthy?
Good afternoon, Chase McCuskey, Engineering Department. I just have one item, that would be change order number 1 for the Singing River sculpture in the amount of $2,185.
What's that for?
That was, we needed some more sodding, 190 extra yards of sod, and that'll cover the sodding that we needed.
Okay,
Second.
all right. Motion by Mr. Edwards, second by Mr. Oliver. All in favor?
All right, thank you.
Much. Mr. Coombs?
Good afternoon, David Coops, Solid Waste Street Recycling. We have a change order on our fuel system being located at the recycle center. The cost of this is going to be $8,584. This got caught up in the whole process. This is a pretty big project, and the fire department had wanted these AIM units. And what this is, it's a unit that attaches to the fuel tank of a fire truck or a vehicle or whatever. And so when you put the nozzle in there to fuel your vehicle, all the data gets gathered and sent off in the cloud so we can gather that data, know mileage and hours and so forth. This is gonna do 8 fire trucks. And so when you fuel, it'll automatically read, we'll have all the data from it. The other fuel, the other vehicles that get fuel will enter a lot of things manually, such as mileage and all when they get fuel. We may go this throughout the whole city one day. But this is 8 units, we're gonna see how this works, the data that it gathers, and it was originally in there, it just got lost in there, so to make this right, we're proposing this change order to put it back, and we'll evaluate this system and see how this works for us as part of our fuel system at the new station.
You
Right.
mentioned that the last time we had an update on this, that it was something that you were looking at,
Yeah.
and what it would do,
Right.
and why we needed it.
Right.
So I appreciate the additional explanation, so.
Yeah, the fuel station should kick off, we're week to week, it could kick off anytime, it's gonna be a fast construction, waiting on a few components to get delivered to them so that they can install it, but hopefully it'll be up soon.
Do you have an estimate of the amount of fuel that's used weekly in the city?
We do, I don't have it with me, but we do have that, I can get you that information, it's a lot. You know, we'll have diesel, off-road diesel, gasoline, and we'll have the ignition fluid, the DEF fluid, will all be stored on site down there, and we do have a pretty good estimate of what will be used. But we'll get weekly deliveries, probably to keep up with the demand.
Any questions? Any additional questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor? Is it change order? Okay, I'm sorry, make the. Yes.
Second. No.
Motion by Mr. Edwards, second by Mr. Oliver, all in favor?
You ready?
Yes.
I thought I'd catch, Mr. McCluskey before he left. He's done a great job in getting our sculpture taken care of. Definitely hot down there, and, he's currently working with Aldott on the, right of way there for, replanting that we had to move, so Aldott doesn't move fast, and we're working on that. I have two items, one is, N and one is O. N is a resolution to approve payment of an invoice from Party Pros USA in the amount of $2,054.06. It's a tent and chair rental for the Memorial Day event, which did not get sent through. That event's already happened, so I just need that approved. The second is a resolution to approve a contract with Andy Brown doing business as Visionary Aquatic Designs. It's for $927. I'm sure you know the, let's say the dam, up on, Mobile Plaza, the fountain up there belongs to the city, and it had some issues, and, in fact, we got sent an invoice before we know it's happened, so, Park and Rec is gonna take over, knowledge of that, and, the cost of when we need issues taken care of will be added to their budget.
So will this get it up and running, Mayor?
It's already back up and running, yes.
Oh,
We
okay.
we didn't know it until the invoice started showing up. Evidently somebody reported it, and he did the work before the city got connected, but
Well, I'm glad it wasn't any more than that then.
What was that amount again?
$927.
Are they gonna do any, do they do a maintenance contract on this thing? Cause I know what happens to it, it gets trash in those pumps, and I think that causes the issue.
That's something we're working on now to get with it. Any other question? Thank you.
Billy?
Good afternoon. I just have one item on the agenda, and it is a franchise agreement with Spectrum Southeast LLC, which is a subsidiary of Charter Communications, and it's to run fiber optic cable through the city. It is, it's not, they're not actually gonna provide any services in the city limits currently, but they have to go through the city to get to certain places in the county where they're planning on providing services, and but the agreement itself is identical to Comcast franchise, except there are a few small changes to reflect that they're not going to be providing cable service in the city. So
And what cost is this to the city?
it's no cost to the city. In fact, the city will actually earn revenue, well, the city electricity department will actually earn revenue because Spectrum will have to rent pole space on the electricity department's poles and pay rent, so. But as far, it won't cost the city anything, nor will it generate any franchise fee revenue, because they're not actually gonna be providing services within the city. However, they're running as I understand it, they're running the fiber across, I think, O'Neill Bridge, and then going out Savannah Highway, and even though it's not gonna be available for city use currently, you know, the way I look at it, the more fiber optic cable we get in the area, just for future potential, the better, probably.
It's probably not a question for you, Billy, it's probably better for a representative from Spectrum, but is it something that then, do you understand that ultimately the city will get this?
No, I don't think that they don't have any long-term plans to provide anything in the city right now, but it will be that it'll be more fiber infrastructure in this area, in the city of Florence specifically, so, you just don't ever know what the future holds, so, and also, just as a matter of, I guess I should point out that when we you know, it's against the state constitution for the city to grant exclusive franchises unless you go through the competitive bid process. So any cable or fiber company that comes to the city, that wants a franchise, as long as they're willing to accept it on the same terms that the other franchisees have, then we can't, you know, really the city can't refuse it, so. But this is not any cost whatsoever to the city.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for the work session, so we'll take about a 20-minute break and start up, the meeting at 5 o'clock. Thank you.